Joined by Eddie Hearn at Wembley Arena. We've just seen Dillian Whyte return to winning ways. A majority decision victory, over 12 against Jermaine Franklin. Many thought this might have been over quickly. Jermaine Franklin surprised a few people tonight, I think.
Jermaine Franklin was outstanding, and I think it was a very, very close fight. I think Dillian Whyte had to win the championship rounds to win the fight. I thought Franklin boxed beautifully, did tire in the championship rounds, and Dillian hurt him badly in the 10th and the 12th. But, you know, when I got in the ring after, I said to Dillian Whyte, it's close. And he went, no, it's not. I said, I think it is. You know, I think you needed all those rounds to win the fight. And I had him edging the fight, but a very good performance from Jermaine Franklin. As we knew, a quality heavyweight, tough night for Dillian Whyte.
Overlooked, perhaps? You think Dillian overlooked?
I think overlooked by people that maybe, you know, haven't heard of him, you know, and we knew, and speaking to everybody, and Dimitri Salita and people back in Michigan, this kid can really fight. And, you know, he's been over sparring with Tyson Fury, he's had good rounds with Daniel Dubois. He's a very good heavyweight, and he showed that tonight. You know, Dillian Whyte with a new trainer, tried different stuff, but it was actually reverting to type in the end that got him out of jail in the fight, quite frankly.
And coming into this fight, obviously difficult form for him, losing 2 of his last 3, heading into this inside the distance. I suppose you can't blame him for, like you say, trying new things and perhaps being a bit cautious throughout the first 8 rounds or so.
Yeah, but you know, for me, when you're hitting the body for 7, 8, 9 rounds, you have to switch it up to the head, you know, and it was when he did that, he started having success. He hurt him badly in the 10th, he hurt him very badly in the 12th, and one more round or another minute and probably the fight was over. But, you know, Franklin boxed really well. He's very smart, great boxing IQ, and he'll come again. It was a good performance.
Anthony Joshua was ringside. There must have been an agenda behind that. Can you enlighten us, please?
Just here, you know, he wanted to watch Wardley Gorman and, of course, wanted to watch Whyte against Franklin. His next date is fast approaching, and, you know, he's looking at those guys throughout the whole fight, saying, whoever gets this, I want the winner. Dillian Whyte got the nod, whether that's in March or whether that's in June, July. I feel pretty confident that fight will take place. And, you know, he's ready to go. He's licking his lips. He's ready to get back into camp and looking forward to his return. Do you think that could be across the road there in the slightly bigger arena? For sure. I mean, every AJ fight's a stadium fight, particularly against Dillian Whyte. And you know, he's looking for a big year, 3 fights, and that would be a great all-British blockbuster. Did
he say anything to you there after the fight or when it was going on?
I didn't speak to him after the fight, just during. You know, I said, what do you think? He said, you know, I want both. I want both. And like I said, Jermaine Franklin will be involved in big heavyweight fights. I thought it was a very good performance, but for Dillian Whyte, he's looking at AJ, he's looking at Deontay Wilder, he's looking at all those big names.
Let's talk about the chief support. For as long as it lasted, it was a firefight, it was so exciting. You were off your seat, you were nearly in the ring at one point. Just talk us through it from your perspective.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Gorman started the fight really well, and that was the danger, really, was, you know, we know he's a very good fighter. And if you let him get momentum in the fight, he's going to be very difficult to beat. And what Fabio did was stop that momentum. And, you know, people talk about amateur pedigree, people talk about Fabio's white collar background, but what won him the fight was all the things that can't give you. And that's bollocks, that's excuse my French, arsehole. That's the ability to get hurt, bite down on a gum shield and fire back. And that's what won him the fight tonight. And that's what's won him other fights as well in the past. You can't keep relying on that as you get through the levels and you go to world level. But it was more than enough to beat Nathan Gorman tonight. And if he didn't have heart, if he didn't have courage, he would have got beat. He was getting busted up in the first round, his nose was split in the second round, he got hurt, and he just said, nah, not tonight. And, you know, it was a fierce comeback from him. Hurt Gorman badly in the second, dropped him, obviously dropped him in the third as well. And it was a really good performance. Like, you know, this is a real success story, Fabio Wardley, when you think this is a young guy. And it's a bit boring, keep talking about his white collar background, but you just don't see fighters without an established amateur pedigree go through and win British titles, you know, and look like they can go on to world level. And Fabio can. You know, he's got a great little catchment area in Ipswich. He brought a lot of support here tonight. I want to see him defend, you know, in spring next year after that nose has healed, had a good Christmas, back as close to home as possible. Start defending that British title, get himself in position to fight for the European title. And who knows how far he can get. But he's very spiteful, he punches very hard, he's super exciting. And it was a massive win to become British champion tonight.
That European title's vacant as well, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's still a lot of learning to do for Fabio Wardley, but he's got stuff he can't teach, and he's very exciting to watch.
Let's talk about Pat McCormack. He stood here very unhappy with the approach from his opponent tonight. Was it a frustrating fight for him tonight?
It was horrible. I mean, Andino's definitely not coming back, to be fair. He's not getting the invite.
He said he was the Grinch, maybe he was.
Yeah,
for
but
the wrong reasons.
At the end of the day, you know, learning in the professional ranks is not just about blitzing for opponents in one round. It's about being frustrated, and I thought he controlled his frustration well. There were times when I was thinking the headbutt might be coming, or, you know, the shove or the elbow. It was horrible for him in there tonight. But he boxed well, he didn't get frustrated, and he'll learn so much from that. Got to cut the ring off better, but this guy wouldn't stop moving. you know. But that's all right. Listen, McCormack's a world-class fighter, and the 6 rounds will do him good.
Really likeable character. And it seems he's got himself in check as well. He seems he's turned a bit of a corner with Ben Davies, and he's disciplined.
There's no excuse not to be disciplined, especially when you've got, you know, Matchroom behind you, DAZN behind you, the whole global schedule of boxing behind you to go and fight wherever you want, whenever you want. Like, if you're not disciplined, then you're a waste of time. And he's disciplined, but you just need the right team of people around you to focus that discipline. And he's got that. He'll be fine. You know, he's going to go on. He's going to box again in February or March. Stay active, start headlining shows in Newcastle. This kid's going to be a big star. Good
performance, I thought, tonight from Sandy Ryan. How did you see that?
Really good performance. And, you know, I said to Paul Reddy and Clifton as well, like, the corner teams and management don't often want you to trade, but in certain situations, it's okay and it's entertaining. Like, if she would have boxed off the back foot all night, she would have won easily, but not as many people would be talking about her. She was exciting, she mixed it up, she boxed, she fought, she traded. And I thought it was a great performance. And you need to do all those kind of things to be able to go to the next level. There's not a lot of levels beyond those girls that she beat. So what is next? You know, she will have one more fight before fighting for the world title, but really she's there, and 2023 will definitely be the year that Sandy Ryan fights for the world title.
Could she fight Jessica McCaskill at 147?
Yeah, I mean, look, all those girls, like, you know, Chantel Cameron, Jessica McCaskill, they've earned the right to be in big fights, right? And we need to make sure that we deliver them. And it's a bit similar to Chantel Cameron when she was calling out Katie Taylor. She's now earned the right for our performances to start being in the mix to fight Katie Taylor. You know, but at the end of the day, Sandy Ryan, Chantel Cameron will now look at Sandy Ryan and say, you know, I've earned this. You can't come and fight for my undisputed. You've got to earn it. But she's on her way to earning it, and we have to make that fight as big as possible, and it was a great performance.
Big Chev landed a monster uppercut in his fight. Good refereeing, and good from Chev as well to be able to hold himself back.
I think Chev Clark's moving really nicely, really nicely. I mean, I think that you look at the domestic cruiserweight division, and it's on fire. There's so many big fights. He's still got some time, but I feel like he's going to be in some really exciting fights. The pleasing thing with Chev tonight was that he didn't ship too many shots. The other guy was trading all the time with him, but his defence was better. In Nottingham, he took too many shots. You can't do that as you go through the levels. And I thought it was a really good performance, a beautiful uppercut. I think Chev Clark is going to breeze through the domestic scene. I think he's going to be in big domestic fights and get to world level very quickly, and I'm very excited about his future.
Lots more to come from Mark Dickinson, only a young lad, but perhaps guilty of maybe trying a little bit too hard tonight.
100%. Mark was okay. It wasn't a great performance, but, you know, he's come up on this scene, this stage. He's very excited, and he just boxed good. But don't forget, it was a good opponent. 4-2, just lost to an Olympic gold medalist. That was a real fight for him tonight, and he came through, and he'll learn bundles from that. He's a very good fighter.
Great start for Georgie Liddard. You like him, don't you?
George Liddard can really fight, you know, and even better, he's from Essex, and even better, he's from Billericay. So we're buzzing with that. Tony Sims has another young star. He's going to be a very popular, exciting fighter. And good win for Thomas Carty as well, who'll feature on the Croke Park bill if we get that done with Taylor Serrano.
Big congratulations for everyone at Matchroom. For John Ryder, massive win for him across the city tonight.
I'm so pleased for Johnny Ryder. Like, you know, we've been, since he beat Daniel Jacobs, we've been looking for this big fight. We didn't expect it to be Zach Parker, but he came through. You know, great performance, just too much for Zach Parker. I think Zach Parker had an injured hand, but John Ryder was getting to him and was, you know, I believe he would have stopped him anyway. And, you know, I've already texted Eddie Reynoso to say, John Ryder's a mandatory. Let's go in May at the Emirates. You know, it'd be a dream for John Ryder. Wow. He deserves it, you know, and he's a very, very good fighter. He's now mandatory challenger for Canelo Alvarez. This could be our chance to bring Canelo to the UK. It would be unbelievable. And yeah, we'll see if we can get it over the line.
We'd all love to see that. And roll on next week, the big trilogy. You can't wait for this one, can you?
Absolutely. I mean, next week in Phoenix is a fantastic card. We're going to have about 10,000 in there. Estrada Chocolatito 3. You know, for me, it's a dream to be involved with that fight. Huge undercard, Julio Cesar Martinez, Velasquez, Amo Williams, Diego Pacheco. It's a massive show, big crowd. Don't miss it on DAZN before we fly back to Leeds for Josh Warrington against Lopez and Ebony Bridges against Shannon O'Connell.
And in terms of the first quarter of fights next year, I know yourself and Frank are already sitting down and looking at the New Year calendar. When can we expect any type of announcement on that?
I think hopefully by the Josh Warrington fight, we'll be ready to announce that first period of next year. It's very exciting. You know, it's not just a case of saying, you know, let's plan Manchester and etc., but you know, it's a global schedule with dozens of countries, and can't wait.
And John's on FaceTime there. We'll just let you say hello.
Hey! Unbelievable. Well done, mate. You're on camera here as well. Don't worry, mate. I'm so proud of you. Well done, mate. I've already put the text into Reynoso. Don't worry, don't worry. It's got to be the Emirates, right? Well, you know, is Wembley okay, or it has to be? You know, can it be Tottenham Stadium, or is that going to cause you a few problems? Orient. Well, it's not big enough, mate. It's Johnny Ryder against Canelo Alvarez in London. Well done, mate. Proud of you. See you soon. Cheers, mate. Bye, mate. Well done, mate.
Top man. Well done.
Go on, Joe.
See you soon, mate. Cheers, mate.
I think we're doing a presser on.